Hey Jared, how are you doing today?
Oh, I'm good, Melody. Thanks for seeing me.
Good. Before we start the session, I do want to go over a couple of things. I do want to let you know that this meeting is being recorded for educational purposes. At any point that you feel uncomfortable or you feel like we need to stop, just let me know and I will do so. Do you understand all of that?
Yes.
Awesome. And I also want to let you know that all of this information is confidential. If for any reason I feel that you may be of harm to yourself or to others, or if the court appointed me to release this video for any reasons, I would have to do that. Do you understand that as well?
Yes.
Okay. So tell me what brings you here today.
Um, it's just I think just been under a lot of anxiety and stress lately. It's a lot of stuff going on in life. I'm just trying to find my way in it, I guess. There's been changes at work with my wife. Her job has changed, so we had some stuff over the holidays, just trying to switch jobs and holiday stuff. In school now. Trying to figure out if, did I make the right choice? This is what I really want to be doing.
Mm-hmm.
Um, Maybe a little burnout there. At that age, I think I'm 43 now, be 44 this year, actually. My kids are almost out of high school. They got one more year left after their junior year now. So they're getting more and more independent. They got their first jobs, their first boyfriend, first girlfriend, that kind of stuff. So I'm just I don't know. I'm trying to kind of take stock, I guess, and just feeling anxious and kind of what's next and where I'm going to go from there.
Got you. So from what I'm understanding is that you are experiencing a little bit of anxiety from work and from home life. Your children are beginning to grow up. I think I heard you say that you're having a little bit of anxiety about school and just things just beginning to change for you. Does that sound correct?
Yeah, I think that's. Nothing's settled in my life at this point, I guess. So a good way of summing it up.
Got you. So how does this anxiety affect your everyday life?
I guess it tends to maybe I overthink things, and instead of doing, I start dwelling on the things that are making me anxious instead of doing the things I need to do to actually deal with my anxiety, I guess. It kind of shuts me down, locks me up a little bit.
Mm-hmm.
Tend to
Now,
avoid
whenever you say the anxiety shuts you down or locks you up, what does that mean?
that I don't feel motivated to do stuff, that I procrastinate. I wait to do my homework till Sunday night. Um, I put off chores or put off going to the store or whatever. I don't take things out for dinner to cook instead, and end up having to order out instead because I didn't feel like cooking or whatever.
Mm-hmm.
That kind of stuff.
Got you. So you use words such as unmotivated and that you procrastinate. Would you say that that's something that was maybe how you grew up?
Unmotivated, no. Procrastination, yeah, that's always been an issue for me.
Okay.
I need the stress of a deadline to actually, I guess, kick my butt in gear and start doing stuff.
Mm-hmm. So I want you to tell me a little bit about your childhood and how you were growing up.
Pretty active child. I'm an only child, so I didn't have any siblings. So really close to both my parents
Mm-hmm.
growing up. My mom more so than my dad. My dad's relationship was better as I grew up, but as a kid, I was closer to my mom.
Mm-hmm.
Um, so I had a lot of time. I had a lot of time to myself. I learned to entertain myself pretty well.
Mm-hmm.
Uh, with reading or playing games by myself, running through the woods, whatever. I had I always had groups of friends that were closer than friends. You know, they were more like siblings to me. I always ended up finding friends that were either only children themselves or, you know, had stepbrothers or stepsisters. And so we kind of formed closer relationship that way. And yeah, pretty good childhood actually.
Gotcha.
Overall.
So what kind of student would you say that you were?
Excellent till about middle school.
Okay.
Then I got bored. Like school became boring to me. I was an excelled student through most of my elementary school years, and so at the point, like by about 6th grade, I was reading at collegiate level, and they didn't have things for me to do at that level, so they put me in the highest group, which was still lower than my. So I started to lose interest and focus in school by about middle school, based on, I guess, lack of challenge and being able to get away with just doing it because I was smart enough to get away with it.
Right.
But not necessarily having to put in the homework or the hours to pass the test or whatever.
Right. So you really wanted more of a challenge whenever you were younger, and you weren't really getting that.
Yeah. I didn't feel connected to the level of work I was doing. And then, you know, then bad habits, I guess, set in. And then, you know, I became an indifferent student. It's not until I got a little bit older and honestly found online schools and different, just not sitting 7 to 3 in a classroom, or, you know, showing up at state university and sitting in a class for 2 hours 3 times a week. You know, found ways to work around on my own schedule and stuff like that, that I really started to excel in school again.
Great. So it sounds like you eventually ended up finding yourself, and being able to go to online school was a much better option for you. So would you say now in your life that you are more like the middle school you or the elementary you?
In this class, in this particular program, I'm probably more of the middle school me right now. I'm trying to kick out of that. I do have a lot of experience in the coursework that I'm doing. My wife has actually a master's degree and a doctorate in the field that I'm taking my degree in. So I've kind of gone through the programs with her as kind of a sidekick to her programs. So, you know, I've read her papers, and I've, you know, when she was in school and went through the whole process, signed up with her. So it's like I'm formalizing stuff. I feel like I'm formalizing education that I learned informally right now.
Through your wife.
Yeah.
Gotcha.
So it's like the motivation is trying to kick in again, you know, because I know I don't know everything and I'm not an expert on it, but at the same time, I know enough to, you know, kind of get by. Sorry, Dr. C.
Understood. All right.
As an aside, outside of the therapeutic environment here. So.
All right. Hold on, something popped up. Okay, I can see you again.
Oh, good.
Gotcha. So the procrastination and the anxiety, do you think that you experienced any of that whenever you were younger?
Yeah, I mean, I get anxious. I mean, I was an anxious kid, I guess. I mean, you know, as far as like, yeah, I don't know. I think anxiety, like, I think my anxieties come more with maturity when I think about being, you know, more aware of the fact that of the effects of my slacking off. So I think that leads more to anxiety than I had as a child, where I could just get away with it and not deal with the consequences.
Gotcha. So what is it now that you think that you could possibly work on to lower that anxiety that you're experiencing at home, with school, and anything else that you are dealing with it with?
Things I could do. I get ahead of things, but I just can't seem to get there.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, I mean, it's one of those, you just got to buckle. I guess I have to buckle down and just do it, instead of doing homework on the end of the week, I got to do it at the beginning of the week. I can't let setbacks, I guess, set me back. I get sick I was hoping for the break to catch up on stuff and get reset, and then I end up getting sick and not really catching up because I spent, the last week and a half dealing with a really bad cold. So,
Yeah.
Instead of letting that set me back, I need to be able to just get out in front of things.
Right. So it sounds like you have pretty much said to yourself that you just need to go forward and get things started to pretty much lessen that anxiety that you have. Is that correct?
Yeah. I think eventually the anxiety will push me to actual action,
Action. Right. Is there anything else that you think you would like to share with me today, Jarrod?
I think it's a good first start.
Awesome. Well, this is going to conclude our session, and I hope you have a good day.
All right, thanks.
Okay.
Right,
So I'm going to.
Are we good now?
Okay, I'm going to keep recording.
Okay.
And whenever you're ready.
All right. All right. Hi, Melody. Thanks for meeting with me. How are you today?
I'm good, Jarrod. How are you?
I'm good. Thank you. All right. Before we begin and get into things here, we'll go over a few things. Just housekeeping stuff. Things I'm required to talk about before we start. First is this is being recorded as I'm a student. So anything, as long as I need your consent to make sure that you're comfortable with the recording. I won't share it with anybody other than for my own learning and development. So is that okay?
Yes, that's okay.
Okay. And then anything, just want to go over confidentiality and some exceptions to that I'm required to share with you so that you're aware of those things. And everything you say in this session is confidential, with a couple of exceptions that are pretty extreme. One, if you report anything that would be suspected child abuse or elder abuse, anything you say that I would deem as an immediate threat to harm to yourself or others in the community, I would be mandated by law to report that. And in some cases, there might be court-ordered from the courts to force me to share specific things about our therapy or our counseling sessions. But those would only be limited to what the order or the subpoena was requiring me to do. Do you understand those?
Yes.
Okay. Awesome. So thanks for meeting with me. I know it's a big first step to come for counseling and do that stuff. A little bit about the process here. I'm an Adlerian theorist, so kind of just our first meeting, I want to do it's kind of an assessment. I'm hoping that we're going to be partners in this, and that together we're going to help you because you're the expert in you. And so the first meeting is going to be kind of a getting to know you session, so that we can assess where you're at, what's going on right now, but also thinking of some colloquialisms or sayings, past is prologue, or those that don't know their history are deemed to repeat it. So a lot of what we're going to do in this first session is kind of get to know Melody as a holistic person from your whole life up to the events that are leading you to come see me today. So first, we'll start with what caused you to seek out your counseling, and then maybe tell me a little bit about yourself and your background, your childhood.
Got you. So I'll first start with why I'm here. Recently I've been extremely stressed. I have a lot going on. So right now I am in the process of trying to find another job. I currently work with adults that have disabilities. And then on the side, right now, I'm bartending at a restaurant. And I've been there for like a really long time.
Okay.
So I don't want to quite give that up yet because it is still really good money. But my first job, you know, like I said, it is building my resume.
Right.
And it is something that I do love. I love doing. But the money is not that great.
Right.
And it's a nonprofit, so the money is not really going to be too great.
Right.
It's really hard to move up within a company because most of the management positions are already filled. But I'm feeling like, you know, a lot of people that work there don't have bachelor's degrees, are not even working on master's degrees. So I feel like whenever positions open up and I apply for them, I feel like I'm constantly getting overlooked. And then they look at the outside. They seek outside positions. And I'm a really hard worker. You know, I'm a really hard worker. I come to work on time. You know, they know that I'm pursuing a master's degree. And I feel like, you know, like I said, I feel like I'm being overlooked. And I mean, I don't plan on staying there for like the rest of my life, but I do see it as a stepping stone for myself. Right. And I mean, it's causing me to have to look elsewhere right now. So that's just kind of where I'm at. And it's very stressful to send in 4 and 5 applications every single day and maybe only get, you know, one callback or one interview. It's just kind of defeating sometimes.
Right. Yeah. You know, I hear that. It definitely, you know, like you said, sounds very frustrating. And, you know, word you said was overlooked. So you also kind of mentioned that you feel like you're farther along maybe than some of the people that are getting passing over you, even though you're more qualified. So, and that's exacerbating your frustration with the sense of that you need this job to move forward in your career.
Right.
But you need the money now from the bartending. So
definitely. And then some of it, I feel like, you know, I feel like I'm overlooked because of my age, because I'm so young. I'm 25, I'm getting ready to be 26. So I feel like a lot of the times they want you, you know, whenever you're filling out an application, they want you to have like so many years of experience. And I'm like, I'm 25 years old. I just got out of college, you know, 2 years ago. You know, I'm trying to build my experience right now. So it's like, I feel like a lot of the times they look at me and they're like, oh, she's young, she's not ready for it. But I'm like, you know what I can do, obviously, if I've been here for this long. So
you need the experience to get the experience. So how do you get the experience without getting the opportunity to get the experience?
Right.
Circle to be in. So why don't you tell me a little bit about, you know, maybe think of a time when, you know, your childhood where it's a similar situation, you know, where'd you know?
Okay. So whenever I was in high school, I was a cheerleader. I cheered every single year for 4 years. But this one particular year when I tried out for varsity, my best friend and I always ended up trying out together, and we always made the team together. And then not even knowing until I looked at the sheet of paper, because at the end, after you try out, they post the paper and they show who made the team. And the first name was my best friend's and the second name was mine. And all I knew was that I made the team. I was super excited about that. I didn't even see at the top where it said, like, at the top, captain and co-captain. So I was like super excited. But the only thing that ended up making it, you know, kind of messy was, like I said, this was my first year on varsity. And I had
Mhm.
had some people who were older than me that felt like, that my best friend and I shouldn't have gotten those positions because we were younger, because it was our first year. And, that's not even what I had wanted. I was just excited to be a part and to be on the team because it was something that I wanted to do.
Right.
So I guess
So
that was
a
something.
similar instance to what you're going through
Right.
now, the
Very similar.
being younger than people thinking you're too young for what you're actually getting right now. Why don't you tell me a little bit about your family, your siblings and mother, father, all that stuff. Your child, even farther back childhood.
I have a older sister. She is 12 years older than me. We're extremely close though. Very, very close. Even to this day, we talk on the phone every single day. She has kids. I think I'm like the best aunt ever. Um, and I really look up to her because she is getting her master's degree as well right now. So a lot of the things that she does, not that I necessarily feel like I have to do the same thing that she does, but I have something to look up to as far as a standard, and I see how successful she is. So that's just kind of like where I want to be.
Mhm.
Eventually, even though she is 12 years older than me, and I do realize that it didn't happen overnight for her. Um, my mom and dad, well, my mom she went to college for a little bit, but she didn't graduate. And she is retired. She worked for a company for about 30 plus years. So no schooling there, anything like that. My dad, he didn't go to college. Um, and he still works for a company now. So, I mean, both of my parents are very supportive in anything that I do or whatever it is that I want to do. They've always, taught me whatever it is. I want you to be better than me. I want you to do the things that I didn't get to do. That's why, my sister and I are pursuing master's degrees and have bachelor's degrees and wanting to eventually one day get a doctorate. So, I mean, they definitely push us and have always pushed us to do anything we wanted to do, even when I was younger.
Oh, that's really good. But it's an interesting you bring that up. So one, you have a very supportive parents that really are pushing you to succeed, but you have a really close consistent relationship with an older sister
Mm-hmm.
who's significantly older than you, and yet you're doing the similar, both in the master's degree program. So you're accelerating kind of beyond your family or your sister, yet you're being stuck in, you're kind of seeing yourself almost through your sister of 12 years ahead of you, but
Mm-hmm.
you're already at the level she is. So was that
Right.
something that happened a lot in as growing up as well? Like,
Yes,
bumping, seeing your sister.
a lot of the things that my sister either may have wanted to do, I did get to do. In college, she wanted to be able to cheer, and she wasn't able to cheer because we went to the same school for our undergrads as well. She wanted to cheer in college, but she wasn't able to because she ended up getting pregnant
Hmm.
with my nephew. So I was the cheerleader for 4 years. So everybody knew, like, Mel's the cheerleader. We're gonna go see her at her games, and that was something that she didn't get to see. My
Right.
sister also wanted to pledge a sorority. She didn't get to pledge, but I did, and I got to pledge the sorority that she wanted to pledge. So, not saying that not saying my sister is not successful in things because she's very successful, but some of the things that she wanted to do, I got to do. Um, Mainly because we just kind of took a different route. She ended up having a child while she was in college, and I don't have any kids, so that was definitely something that was mainly different from us because I don't have any kids and I'm 25 and still don't have any kids. So, you
Right.
know, that was definitely different.
So in a lot of ways, you've moved at a faster pace than maybe those around you see you. You're kind of almost with your sister 12 years ahead, but you're
Hmm.
bumping into the problems of seeing yourself in a society where everybody else sees you as 25, 26.
Right.
You're kind of, you know, you were you probably were following your sister as a cheerleader when she was in high school, but you were dressing as a cheerleader when you were 6 or 7, right?
Mm-hmm.
So you've done things longer, but you started at such a young age that you're now bouncing into this kind of trap now of people seeing you as too young, even though you've experienced maybe farther along than people much older than you.
Right, that's very true.
So interesting. I think this is a good place to stop and sum up where we're at, so we can move forward with more assessment and more analysis and kind of learning a little bit more about Melody. So again, I hear frustration at work. You're zooming along, advanced, and kind of hitting the ceiling, and some frustration with some age constraints against you, or at least some suspected age constraints of where your expectations are versus what other people see of you. So does that sound kind of where we're kind of starting here?
Yep, that sounds right.
All right. Well, thanks for meeting with me. It was a good session, I think, and look forward to working with you some more.
Thank you, Jarrod.
All right.
I'm going to